welcome to this, the latest event in our Aspire Speaker Series. Today, we look more closely at LaLiga and their plans to grow internationally and specifically here in the MENA region. With us, two men who should be able to shed a little light on this conversation. We have, first of all, Alvaro Payá, who is the international business representative for LaLiga in Qatar, and José Guerra Alvarez, who is LaLiga's strategic operational manager. Gentlemen, thank you both very much for your time today. Really looking forward to the conversation. If we start by looking back, I imagine, Jose, most of our audience today will focus primarily on matters on the field rather than off it. And if we look at what your teams have done, I think 6 of the last 9 Champions League winners come from La Liga. I think 11 consecutive winners of the Ballon d'Or played their football in La Liga. So why is it so important that you remain focused on matters off the field as well as on?
Yeah. Hi, good morning, Andy. Glad to be here with you. Basically, we are sure that we need to keep working in the growth of the competition, because for us it's very important, of course, the performance on the field, but it's also important the performance outside the fields. We are seeing how the entertainment industry is moving in the last years. We need to keep being leader of this interesting industry for the next years. So we need to keep investing in new broadcasting ways and in our internationalization, digitalization. We have to improve all the aspect of our industry and on our competition.
It's interesting that you used the word straight away there, entertainment. Is that where we're going now with the sport? Is it as much about entertainment as it is about pure sport?
Yeah, absolutely. We are working in a world of entertainment, and our competitors are not just another competition or another sports. Is any way of the people is trying to use their spare time. We can see series or internet or e-games, e-sports, and we have to compete with all of them. And for that is for us is the entertainment industry in which we manage our competition.
And I suppose, Alvaro, traditionally you would look at the domestic market for growth, but does there come a point where that market almost reaches maximum capacity when you have to start looking internationally?
So as Pepe was saying, like we just like evolve as an organization, and if we get back in time, like in 2017 is where we kick off like this global expansion, like spreading all our human resources like in the global market. So now we can count as like 44 delegates in different markets, 11 regional offices, and also like 2 joint ventures. And of course we have like an international team in Madrid working as well. So the point, as you were saying, Andy, is like now if we go to the figures of the international TV rights revenues, it's around 900 million, and back in 2013, sorry, it was 230. So the growth has been like plus 300% growth. So this is like the figures that we are talking about here, and this is like the result of the international expansion, and how important it is for La Liga now to be like having like a physical and a digital presence, globally speaking.
So when you're measuring, are you measuring in terms of the amounts of revenue you bring in, or more specifically at viewing figures?
No. I mean revenue, like from the TV rights. So as well as the global expansion in terms of TV rights has been like fundamental, we also can develop like another revenue streams. And when we talk about the global expansion, it's not only about revenues. Of course, we have to be like very, very active, being closer to the fans, and we have to be like very strategic when we develop like different digital strategies. We have to develop like the comms side. We have to develop CSR, institutional partnerships, getting closer to local sponsors. So there's like a long journey ahead still, and this is like the proof of LaLiga as well, yeah.
And that must in itself provide very specific challenges, Jose, because obviously your background, you were with Real Zaragoza. Now, looking after one club when you're local must be relatively easy to engage with fans. It's not so easy, purely because of geography, to engage with fans who are living thousands of kilometers away.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we have to think in the Boost La Liga as a tool to increase our presence in the international market, because as a competition, we can have an impact in that international market. If we think this as a club alone, it's very difficult to have a real impact internationally. So for us, this project is very important because it's a growth project and a competition project. And we are sure that if we work together, all the clubs from La Liga competition, we are going to have a very huge impact in the international market, and we can keep growing in that market.
Fill me in. Give me a bit more detail then about Boost La Liga, because there have been thousands of words written about the initiative over the last 6-8 months. A lot of different figures bandied about how much it's worth, how long term, who's involved. So explain to me then, what is Boost La Liga about, and how important is this partnership with CVC?
It's very easy because La Liga is an agreement with a strategic partner that has a very huge expertise in the entertainment and in the sport market. And we have an agreement with them for the next 50 years to get resources, about 2 billion euros, to invest in projects, in clubs, to grow the revenues of that club and the competition as a whole, and to be able to develop the competition in 5 years, what without the Boost La Liga project could have take 20 years, basically. So it's just an agreement with a strategic partner that has a very important expertise in this entertainment and sport business.
So the strategic partner is CVC. Is their involvement purely financial, or is there more to it than that? Are you looking to them to give you the benefit of their experience, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a financial investor. It's a strategic investor because CVC has a very wide range of investment in companies and in other competition, in volleyball. We can in Formula One, in MotoGP, and now in rugby. Additionally, in another companies related with the sport and entertainment business, and its knowledge is wider than just a financial investor for La Liga. They have a very long and wide expertise in this industry.
And what's quite interesting, really, about this, Alvaro, is that this 2 billion euros isn't just about investing in players. This is about clubs developing infrastructure. It's about clubs about growing other aspects of the game. So how can that help you in your role trying to help grow La Liga internationally, specifically in MENA? What do you want to see clubs do differently that will help that expansion?
Well, we've seen that from the last past years, as LaLiga, we had to push the brand and the club's brands. So this boost, as Pepe was saying, is just to help the clubs out to go internationally. So they have the perks, let's say, they have the benefits that and the advantage that LaLiga is there to support them. So there's like a strategic group of work in Madrid. So they are like also like coordinating this boost, like this investment money, into the different markets globally. So each club has a different strategic markets, and this group of work in LaLiga will be the ones like in charge of spreading, let's say, the knowledge, the expertise, and connecting each club with each market in regards with their preferences and strategic vision. So 100% this will be like a huge help for the clubs, and La Liga as the international delegates and offices will be there for the help and for the support, for sure.
So this money, Jose, the clubs get, is it theirs to decide what to do with, or will La Liga have some control? Will you have to approve what they use these new funds for?
Yes, La Liga has to approve where the money is going to be used, but it's something that we are doing in coordination with the clubs. We have been divided. We have divided the clubs in 4 different groups, homogeneous groups of clubs, and we are defining for every club some specific projects or some specific objectives in which they need to reach as a club. We are working with them to coordinate all the efforts of the clubs. For example, in the international area, trying to have the better impact, coordinating the effort of every club. So it's something that we are working very close with the clubs. We don't feel that we are imposing anything. We feel that we are working all together, the 38 clubs that have joined the Boost La Liga, and obviously the people in La Liga that is working in this project. We are working very closely to be able to get the most of the resources that we have get.
But you've been quite specific, haven't you? This isn't just money they can go and spend on improving their playing squad. This has to be invested in long-term projects.
Absolutely. We are looking for growth projects. Obviously, we are dedicating some money to hire players, but just 15% in the first 3 years of the project, because between the 4th and the 8th year, they are going to recover the money that they have spent additionally in players. So for the player, it's not the idea, is something temporary, but the most of the project has to be growth project, growth initiative, to be able to generate additional sources of revenues for the future for the clubs.
We should say it wasn't unanimously approved initially, was it? Was it 37 of the 42, Barcelona and Real Madrid specifically, voted against? What was their objection to the plan?
Well, I don't know. I think it's something that has to be asked for them. But we are talking about a global or a initiative that is unique for all the clubs of La Liga to improve the competition. And if these clubs want to be out of these initiatives, we can think that at the end they are looking for some some other interests different than the competition. We know that they are looking for a super league in Europe, so it's going to be is something that can weaken the national competition. But I think that basically they have nothing to say against the project. First, because 38 of the clubs have joined the initiatives. And in the second, they are not going to be impacted for this initiative because we are created a system in which they are going to receive the same money after and before the LaLiga boost.
So, in essence, if all the clubs are receiving the same amount of money, is this something which perhaps would reduce the gap that we've seen over the last 15, 20 years between the traditional top two and the rest?
Yeah, absolutely. At the end, we are trying to have a more competitive competition, and this is good for the spectacle. And we think that is something that is going to create additional sources of revenue and increase of our international presence. So that's our idea to create a bigger competition and more important. And they are looking for another different interest, obviously.
Bring Alvaro back in. In your role internationally, is that something that will help you if La Liga becomes a closer competition, that we start every season with maybe 4 or 5 teams who could potentially win the title, as opposed to realistically, it's likely it's one of the top 2?
One thing I wanted to stand out from Pepe's is that if you travel around the world and you jump into a taxi just coming up from the airport, you're going to tell the driver, I'm going to X hotel, right? And where are you from? Spain, Madrid, Barcelona, right? So we want to just like completely change that, right? So we want like to hear like from the taxi driver, Barcelona, Madrid, Valencia, Villarreal, Sevilla, and this is basically like brand awareness. So the more we increase the brand awareness from the clubs, the more business opportunities will come for them, the more digital opportunities will come for them, and the more strategic agreements we will have for them as well. So definitely yes. I mean, for the international perspective, and having the clubs very active in any activation we can develop in any market, it's super helpful, and this is the way to grow, as Pepe was saying. So I think we're working like very hand in hand with the clubs, and that's something that we are very innovative and something that we really appreciate also from them.
Is that something you found when you've been around the world? I know before you were in the Middle East, you were in East Africa. Was almost the dominance of the 2 Classico clubs too much, that when you went to, if you were in Tanzania, people will talk about those 2 clubs? Is this something that now you have to not battle against, because it's obviously a huge asset to La Liga, but something that you have to find a balance of?
Yeah, definitely. Our main asset is true that it's El Clásico, is the most watched game in the world, but we have like another assets as well to put in the different like scenarios, right? Like we have the big derbies, you know, these clubs like facing each other from the same cities. We have like another big games now. I mean, it's very like appealing to watch Atletico against Sevilla, Atletico against Villarreal. We've seen these clubs like performing amazingly in international competitions, right? So definitely, if depending on the market, you see like a gap in between like Premier League and La Liga. That's something we have to really admit and confirm. If you go to East Africa, the gap it's a bit bigger in between like La Liga and the Premier League, because of also like they've been colonized like many years ago, sorry. And they're like English speakers, so of course there's a difference. But if you go to the Latin market, it's 95% La Liga. So when we talk about the difference and the gap between like Premier League and La Liga, we have to be like a bit more specific on which markets we are like more strong, right? So yeah, that's it.
How are you performing right now in the MENA region? Is LaLiga the leading brand for you right now, Alvaro, or in terms of brand awareness? How do you stand right now?
It's true that the Middle East region it's very special because of course there is like a huge fan football base, and that's something like it helps us a lot to develop the brand. But as we started like 5 years ago, we are still building the brand, and we're seeing like results like coming on. We have a lot of interesting countries in the Middle East region. Saudi is booming now. Qatar is the World Cup in here, and also like it's hosting like a big international events. Emirates is like a super strategic country for us, and we have our regional office there. But for example, if we go like Middle East and North Africa as well, Morocco, Egypt, they're like one of the, two of the biggest markets for LaLiga as well. So the growth that we can experience like in the upcoming years is huge. I mean, there's no limits. Sky's the limit, right? So we have to work on this now. We have to work on the brand. We have to work on like very closely to the different partners in locally speaking, and the more we build the brand, the more business we will get for sure.
Has it helped you specifically in Qatar, the fact that there's been such a Spanish influence in the domestic league? Obviously, Xavi with Al Sadd, but even further, Felix Sanchez was coach of the Qatar national team, led them to their first ever Asian Cup, heading into the World Cup. That must help you a little bit, I presume more than a little bit, in your role.
100%. And I also had the opportunity to hang out with Santi Cazorla and these players here in Qatar. And they're very well known in here. They know about the pureness of the Spanish football, and this is definitely like helping us out. And just getting back to the previous point, Andy, I mean, there's no other league based in Qatar, so this is like a very competitive advantage for us. So we are here in a partnership with Aspire. We got like another project like coming on. So this is like a very huge competitive advantage, and we have to make the most of it. So yeah, I mean, everyone knows what's the Spanish football. You know, like the tiki-taka, the pureness of the football, the passing, the goals, the short players were very effective as well. So yeah, this has been helping a lot, and I'm sure that the Qataris, they love the Spanish football. And if you see like Al Sadd playing, they play like as any other Spanish club. It's insane how they play. So yeah, 100%.
I suspect fans globally will get a surprise come November at the start of the World Cup if they haven't seen Qatar play, because there is a very much a Spanish feel to the way Felix Sanchez has the national team in Qatar playing. Is it something, Jose, that you would take a pride in, that so many countries globally have looked and probably still are looking to almost mimic that Spanish style that emerged over the last decade?
Yeah, we think that we are very knowledge in the whole world. As Alvaro has mentioned before, we have presence in 41 countries. We are covering all the world, and we have been seeing for the last years in all the countries in the world. So our football is well recognized in the world, and obviously this is a very strong tool for us to increase our presence in the international market.
It must help you as well that so many Spanish players and coaches as well have gone abroad as well. You'd imagine, as much as you want, I suppose, a Pep Guardiola in La Liga and part of your league, the fact that you have someone like that taking the brand abroad and taking that style of football, does that help you as well in a bizarre sort of way?
Obviously, 100%. We are exporting our way to play football, and our players, our obviously coach, are trying to work in very different countries in the world. For us is a strength to keep growing and to keep having that international presence. We think that our players and our coaches are being very are people that wants to keep working all around the world, not just in Spain, not just in Spanish football. They are looking for some experience outside Spain, and obviously that is very important for us.
So how will you measure success? How will you know if La Liga Boost has done what it set out to do? Will it purely be measured financially, or are you able to measure, I throw this question to both of you, but how will you measure success? What's the method of calculating how successful it's been, if you like?
We are defining the different KPIs in very different areas. In the digital area, in the digital strategy, we are looking for our numbers, for our figures in the different social media networks. We are tracking our brand in all around the world. Obviously, we are seeing how which revenues are we getting for every market, for every country. It's a very important. We have defined more than 200 KPIs in different areas for all the clubs to keep seeing or to keep analyzing that improvement that we are looking for. So it's not just a matter of revenue, of revenues. At the end, it's a matter of revenues, of course, because everything is a matter of revenues. But we are measuring this improvement in very different ways. We have defined 7 different areas of work in digitalization, communication, internationalization, infrastructure, marketing and commercial, obviously. And we are defining and working on every line or in every area in the same way. So we can have in the next years a very good panel of KPIs to be able to measure if we have been successful or not, obviously.
Do you see that the same way, Alvaro?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I think it's very worth it to mention this, because at the end of the day, it's like 38 clubs that you're working hand in hand. So it's a big thing, actually. So and it takes time, it takes effort, and as Pepe was saying, like we'll see the results like in upcoming years. But we can assure that we're putting like all of our efforts on this, as is very important for the organization. So yeah, we are confident.
A lot of these things that you measure, you know, I read Javier Tebas when he was talking about La Liga Boost, was talking about wanting to see, or become, well, not even see, he wanted La Liga to be a world leader in terms of content production and in terms of digital. But right now, how is it difficult? Have you figured out a way to extract revenue from digital? If you're massive on social media, I mean, right now, everyone gets that for free. So is there a way to monetize that?
Yeah, the way to monetize that in this moment is to increase the broadcasting revenues and your presence in social network. At the end, you are going to have more followers, and the followers at the end are going to become people that pay for seeing your football. But we are going to see in the next future, very close future, different ways to monetize. We are seeing the entertainment business improving and evolving in a very quick way, and I'm sure that we are going to have new challenges in the future, but we are going to see, of course, new ways to monetize the followers and the awareness that we have in the world.
I suppose then that the risk, maybe risk is the wrong word, the more you grow your broadcast revenue, then the more you end up having to give away as a percentage as a result of La Liga boost. So is that a calculated gamble on your behalf?
Yeah, it's not the only one, but it's one of the more important, obviously, because at the end is a way to measure the success of the project. But yes, if you have a declining market, just to stand in the way that we are, it could be good. But we see that we can get more from this market if we follow the strategy that we are defining now with the clubs with La Liga Impulso.
What will we see differently? What will the clubs spend the money on? How will we see improvements? Will it be something we can actually see as football fans physically in front of our eyes?
Well, we can have improvement in front of our eyes, but we are going to see also improvement in the structure of the clubs, because we are going to see how the clubs invest in have more people working in the international area, in the communication area, in the brand area, in the digital area. They need to improve their structure, the professional structure. And obviously we are going to see improvement in the broadcast, how we can include more functionalities, more improvement, more digital aspect in our broadcast. We are going to see we can give the people, we can give the fans a better spectacle. Obviously in the broadcast way, but also in the stadiums. We think that the stadium is something very important for the fans of a club or for the fans of a competition. We want to have the better experience for our fans when they go to our stadiums. So it's very important for us also the investment that the clubs are preparing in their stadium, because we are going to have a better experience in many ways, in digital, broadcast, on live. We are trying to have all the aspects of the business attended.
I think we all learned that over the years of the pandemic, when fans couldn't go to stadiums. If stadiums are full and fans are noisy and invested in football, then everyone wins in the stadium and for those watching on television. So that seems to be a win-win for everybody. Where I wonder if there's not a win-win, if you're successful and more fans watch La Liga, does that mean someone has to lose? Do you have to take fans from other leagues, or do you think there is room for La Liga to grow without impacting others?
I don't know. I think that everything is going to be impacted. If we grow, some have to reduce. If we keep just the same market for the sport entertainment, but we also think that is room currently to grow the followers for the entertainment and sport. I have mentioned some other competition and some other areas, e-sport, but also some other sports, not just football. And we are going to see how these other sports are going to improve also their presence in the entertainment market. We are seeing room for the growth of the sport in general, and obviously we are trying to take the best part of it
Yeah, and the numbers prove it. Every year you see growth across the whole sector in sport. Have you identified specific regions where you can see have room for the most growth? Is there any part of the world where you think that's a spot where we really can identify?
Yeah, for LaLiga, we have a very important room for growth in MENA, for example, but also in Asia. We have room to grow because we can improve our numbers, our figures in that areas. We are seeing a very important impact of LaLiga in North America. That is being very interesting for us. Obviously, we have a very good presence in Latin America because our relation is very close with this region. But basically, in Africa, in MENA, in Asia, we have room to grow.
So no pressure, Alvaro, then. So MENA is the specific growth area. You're going to be a busy man the next few years.
Hopefully, yes. And also we just getting back to the digital point. We've been noticing the huge increase of numbers in the digital aspect, and we just surpassed 150 million followers in all of our platforms. So this is a big figure that we have to highlight in here, if you allow us, Andy. So and this turned out like an amazing weapon also to approach potential sponsors. I mean, at the end of the day, how the sponsors are engaging now with the clients, with the users through digital, right? So if we allow the potential sponsor to have like a whole fan base of millions that they can even use for their marketing strategies, this is a completely competitive advantage for them. So digital can be used in many ways, and also we are evolving into a digital ecosystem, and the new ways of consuming are completely changing. So now Pepe will know way better than me, but this is going into the OTT streaming platforms. So these digital users, this digital fan base, they will turn out from just the social networks up to the different platforms like tweets, Instagram, and whatever. And we will have the chance to watch games, as we've seen recently in Spain in one of the last games, that we broadcast a game on Twitch. So this is the way of evolving and of connecting and engaging with the new fans, let's say.
And does that change, Alvaro, country to country or region by region? Do you find your ways of interacting with fans, for example, in the MENA region, is different to the way you would have had the approach in East Africa?
100%. I think there's another flavor, let's say. Africa is very passionate. Africa is wild. Africa is crazy, and Africa gets into sports bar community. Football is a religion, and I've seen that. So the strategies and the way you approach the market is completely different. Maybe you have to go more on ground than digital in some markets. Maybe you have to partner with different let's say sponsors, because they're helping you out to develop the brand in a very unique way. And then coming into MENA, of course, it's somehow way more developed in very different areas. So you have to think completely differently. And it's been a challenge also for me, because I come from another market. So just getting used to this market and expecting what people really love to watch from LaLiga, right? So yeah, I mean, you have to do a twist in your mind and seeing how it's the best way to engage with fans in different markets. But MENA in Qatar, from my side, right, I've seen very very passionate people cheering at the stadiums. And now, because of the World Cup, hopefully we see a national team struggling in a very tough group they're playing, right, in a very tough group. So we'll see. I think there's a long journey ahead as well for them.
How do you, as LaLiga, Alvaro, take advantage of the fact the World Cup is in Qatar this year? Is there any way you can work alongside, take advantage of that competition to help grow LaLiga on the back of the World Cup? Is that a help, or in a way, is it not a help? The fact that you've got to almost work around the World Cup.
It's a great question. Of course, we've been like putting like a lot of effort, and we're keeping an eye on Qatar because of the World Cup is coming, which means that there's like a lot of stakeholders like really focusing in this market. And of course, we take advantage by somehow. We have nothing to do with the World Cup. This is FIFA, of course, but we are in the same industry, and the stakeholders, they are all interested in football. So the fact that Qatar is hosting a World Cup, it's crucial for our development as well, and not for Qatar only, but for the region. So we've been seeing like there's like another stakeholders in the whole region that they are also like very interested in being part of it, right? And not only that, like also like actual partners of us, they want to be in Qatar for the World Cup, right? So we have to see the ways to activate the brands locally for the World Cup. I'm sure that we will have like some great news coming on.
Would it help or hinder you? I'm not sure this is one really for Jose or for Alvaro. If Spain were to do well this winter, is that a big help to you in your role growing La Liga?
Yeah, for me, I can answer because at the end, obviously, it's going to be good. At the same way in which all the success of the Spanish teams in Europe and all around the world is good for La Liga competition, obviously. But we think that the competition has to have something additional than the success of the clubs. We have to give the fans the better experience in the digital, in the broadcast, in our broadcasts, also in our stadiums, and that is something additional to the success in the field. If we are able to keep this engagement with our fans in different ways, we are going to be a leader competition, obviously. And this is more than to win a world championship, but obviously, if we have a very good, a good performance, is good for La Liga, obviously.
10 years from now, if you are judging success of La Liga Boost, if we still have the status quo, if the viewing figures are similar, if Barcelona and Real Madrid are still dominating La Liga, still dominating in Europe, but broadcast revenues have gone up, social media numbers have gone up, will that be success, or would you hope there will be more competition domestically?
I think that the success is to have better infrastructure, to have our competition running, is to have more followers, both basically in the international market, because nationally it's very difficult to have a better performance, but obviously in the international market, to have to be a competition that is followed in all the different businesses that we started, eSports, our franchises with our restaurants, and when the La Liga Business School, that is all an additional business that we are starting. We have been working for the last 3-4 years. So it's not just we cannot measure the success in not to win Barcelona and Real Madrid, because at the end, these two clubs comes from the very big cities that obviously is going to give them more chances to have a very good revenues. So they are going to stay in the first level, but we are going to increase the competitiveness of the rest of the clubs. I'm sure, but we can measure the success in very different areas.
You mentioned earlier the talk of the European Super League, and I purposely didn't want to get dragged down that tangent because it takes you off in a very different conversation. But before we wrap things up, Jose, is it important that Barcelona and Real Madrid are very much back on the same page as LaLiga, and that talk of a European Super League is put to one side, or is that always going to be the sort of the elephant in the room, the threat, the dark cloud? Until, while that's always a possibility, it's always going to kind of hang there.
Yeah, obviously we prefer to have the Barcelona and Real Madrid focus in our competition and not in a different competition. But on the other side, we are almost sure that is not going to have success in the way that is presented right now, because they are the Super League as is defining that is defined right now is going to be very hard. Is going to have a very bad impact in the national competition. So it's not a virtuous circle. It's just something like a bad circle in which the damage in the national competition is going to harm also these two big clubs. So we are sure that they need to redefine their interest, because at the end they are fighting against the national competition. They are fighting against them. So I think that something has to change, because the Super League is a bad idea for the global ecosystem. This cannot be just a matter of 15 clubs. And we are seeing how the Premier League clubs are outside of this kind of competition, and this is very important for the success of the Super League. We are seeing the Germany clubs outside of the competition. So I think that is more just a matter of being not focused on the right thing that we have to be focused.
That's kind of, Jose, why I didn't want to, when you mentioned it earlier in the conversation, I didn't want to go down that route too early, because it does take you off in a very different conversation. But from what you're saying, you seem pretty confident that it won't happen. If it ever did come back up, could the two coexist? Could you have a European Super League and LaLiga and clubs like Real and Barca doing both? Or once you commit to one, is that it? You can't have eggs in both baskets.
No. We are seeing in Europe, we have the Euro League, for example, in the basket sport, and we are seeing how the national competition just try to struggle with the numbers, because it's not good for the ecosystem in general. We have a very interesting competition in Germany, in all the countries in Europe, and we have a global competition. That is the UEFA Champions League, and we can improve all this ecosystem. Maybe, obviously, everyone can have a good idea to implement in this ecosystem, but we think that we need to look to widen the impact of in our fans, and to try to get more fans for our sport, and not to be one of the 15 of these 15 clubs that are the good ones. I think that is another way to understand this sport.
Yeah. So from your point of view, it's about LaLiga is working for 42 clubs rather than 2.
Absolutely. absolutely. We are working for 42 clubs. Some of them are not aware of that, but but we are working for 42, and obviously we are now with this La Liga Impulso or Boost La Liga. We are working very closely with 38 clubs to coordinate all their efforts to be able to have a better impact in the future and to increase the revenues and to increase our fans, our followers in all the areas that we are working.
Jose, Alvaro, it's been fascinating talking to you both. Let's. I know we're running out of time, so last question really then. What can we expect to see differently, or what can we expect to see in La Liga over the next 12 months? Alvaro, from your point of view, in the MENA region, will we see anything different over the next year or so? What have you got planned?
Well, we're still defining some points, but for sure, I'll tell you that we will see like a really innovative and pioneering concept in Doha for the upcoming months. We're very looking forward to it. It's a whole new concept, and it's very aligned about what Pepe was saying about we're just getting into the brand, lifestyle, entertainment, and new ways of consuming. So for sure we will see that we're very close to it. And also, honestly, one of the main focus that we have in MENA region, it's the football development, which is grassroots, right? So we have to be committed to the youth community, to implement our philosophy, bringing our local coaches from Spain to the MENA region and develop new ways of developing new techniques, tactically speaking, everything. So just living La Liga legacy when it comes to the football development. I think that's one of our main commitments, and the rest will come. But yeah, you will see some news, Andy.
So getting actually more young people playing the game, because that's almost the trajectory would have to reverse, wouldn't it? We've almost seen less young people playing in recent years. So that's a way you can reverse it from your point of view.
Yeah, and also it's fundamental to be close to sports institutions in every market, right? So La Liga is in every market because we want to be closer to its local federation, its local league, its local clubs, and we are here to support. And I think we have a great, let's say, a track record when it comes to football development and Spanish philosophy. And yeah, I'm sure that there will be a huge step forward for everyone.
That sounds like plenty to look forward to for the young people of the MENA region. Last words, Jose, then, from your point of view, how would you like to see La Liga develop over the next 12 months? What can we expect?
As every year, we are going to have some news on the broadcast area, because every year we try to bring the fans something new. We are going to create new content and new ways to reach that content. We are working also in the digital area to bring that content to the fans. Alvaro has mentioned before the OTT and some ways to give our fans additional content through our OTTs in different areas, in different countries. And we are going to see La Liga evolving with the entertainment business. We are seeing how the entertainment business is evolving, and we are seeing a different way to consume our product, also for the youth people, for the young people, and we are seeing how La Liga keep adapting the way in which they give the content to these different kind of followers. So we are going to see a league that fight for being for keep leader of this sport entertainment business.
It will be an interesting few years.
Yeah.
Alvaro, Jose, really appreciate your time today. Fascinating conversation. Very best of luck with things. And for everyone watching us at home today, thank you very much for your time. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. And we will see you with the next event in the Aspire Speaker Series very soon. But until then, bye-bye.